Hello, and thank you for watching. I'm going to talk about firewalls, what settings could be causing you cyber resilience issues, and what rules can help. So what is a firewall? It's a network security device which constructs a barrier between your device or network and the internet. It stops unauthorized access to your systems, and this protects your data from being compromised. It also gives you extra protection against viruses and malware. If a firewall detects anything suspicious or malicious attempting to enter your private network from the internet, it will not allow it through. Manufacturers like to make things easy for their customers, so many have their device as open and multifunctional as possible with everything on. Now this is great for their customer, but that open availability can also mean that there are opportunities to gain unauthorized access to your data. So check the settings. Disable or remove any functions you don't need. This limits the number of vulnerabilities within your systems. Change the default password. These can be easily found on the internet and may give anybody access to your system. If you want more information about default passwords, watch our other videos. And if possible, prevent access to the admin from the internet. If you can't, then make sure that it can only be accessed with the use of two-factor authentication or an IP whitelist of trusted addresses. This should ensure that no one can gain access to your system without being physically present. Considering the threats from cybercrime are international, this step could remove a large threat vector to your systems. You can also set up some rules as a minimum. The first one is to block unauthenticated inbound connections by default. Connections are established following a set protocol. This setting means that unless you instigate the connection, no one should be able to get a connection with your network. This is sometimes known as deny all rule and ensures that only the traffic you have approved is allowed into your network. The second rule is to ensure inbound firewall rules are approved and documented by an authorized individual. Connections can be permitted using firewall rules called access control lists. These allow connections coming into the network from approved sources. Make your access control list specific to the exact source and/or destination IP address and port numbers wherever possible, and ensure that they're clearly documented so that you know what allowed connections have been approved. The last rule would be to remove or disable permissive firewall rules quickly when they're no longer needed. The less options you must manage, the easier you'll find it to update when required. And stopping old connections when they're no longer needed removes that potential access from being a security risk. There are a few other things that we recommend you should do every 6 months. The first is to review the firewall logs and rules. By reviewing your logs, you can determine whether new IP addresses are trying to probe your network and whether you want to write new and stronger firewall rules to block them. You can also ensure that there are no rules which are no longer required. Ensuring devices are updated. Criminals target vulnerabilities in unpatched devices, so make sure that all of your devices are supported and updated. And the last thing would be to perform vulnerability scans. This is just a check to see if there are any obvious issues within your network. Now I understand firewall configuration can be tricky, so if you're not confident about implementing these settings, please speak to one of our trusted partners.
And if you would like more help or guidance, the Eastern Cyber Resilience Centre is here to help. The ECRC is a not-for-profit company led by policing to help businesses become more cyber resilient. So why don't you join our membership for free and speak to us about how we can help you?